Hello, everyone. Good morning. A lovely, happy Sunday morning, probably, for most of you. I don't know. Maybe it's afternoon. I don't know. Anyway, lovely, happy Sunday, whatever to you all. Thanks so much for popping by another little live stream. We're going to be just chatting and hanging out and talking for a little while, and then you get to see my brand new video all about the Nanny, which I've heard some folks enjoy. I've heard some folks like that show. Anyway, how are you all doing? Hello. Who do we have here? Oh, first I have to start the stream by just acknowledging a comment that came in like several hours before the stream started. So I don't know if you're even able to see it, but several hours before the stream started, someone commented, "I managed to make it through about 5 minutes of the Nanny, and I wish I had that 5 minutes back." So not a fan, but my goal is to make a convert out of anyone who is unsure about the Nanny by the end of this. I have to confess, I did not watch this show when it was on, and I regret it deeply. It was a mistake. I am going to try to do better, and I ask for privacy during this time. Who do we have here? Crystal Wright. Hello, Crystal. And Christina Zeitman says, hi, hello, good to see you. Ian is here, waiting, sitting on my fanny, patiently waiting for the Nanny. Now, here's my question. So the theme song for the Nanny, and we're going to talk about what exactly the show is if you're not familiar, but the theme song for the Nanny does rhyme Nanny with Fanny at one point, and I'm like, what were the lyrics in the UK? Because that word means something different there. Did they use the same theme song in England, or do they have to re-record that with something else that rhymes with Nanny? Which I don't know what that would even be. Banani? It's another word that rhymes with Nanny. Well, we'll get to that mystery eventually. Hello to Sim. Hello to Oh Wow, who says woo. A lot of O's and W's there. Hello to Magic Mike and Courtney Kelly. Hello, Nicodemus likes the music. It's fancy. Glab a grass of rosé. Yep. Ellie is here. Hello, Ellie and James Polk. Hello, buddies, pals, and friends. Carmen Franklin is here. Hello to you and Norman Buckwald. Hello, hello. Something Suave Theater. Ooh. Oh, wait. Is it Something Suave or Some Thin Suave Theater? Anyway, hello. Courtney is obsessed by the Nanny, obsessed with the Nanny, obsessed with her by. You go by Cece offline. Wow, that is, and what a character to identify with. Now, I don't know Cece's whole arc here, but it does seem as though she's kind of the villain of the show. Hello to George, hello to Kate, hello to Satin Boys, ooh. And to Joey M. I was getting into the instrumental. Well, I can bring it back. Let me know if it's too loud. Here we go. We've got like just a gentle, quiet music in the background. Rasmus Fox says, is that a fursona? No, it's not a fursona. It's just a funny animal that I like to imagine is also me. I'm not a furry. I just like talking animals a lot and sometimes like to roleplay as them, but I'm not a furry. I just think sometimes about getting dressed up in a suit as an animal, but I'm not a furry. I just really like rabbits. Anyway. Hello to Kate and Something Suave Theater. Ian, Marcelino Martinez, hello to you. Philip says, my husband introduced me to your videos and I'm hooked. I love your content. I love the Nanny. Wonderful. Oh, uncanny. Joey, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Uncanny. Something uncanny. And that's how she became the Nanny. Nick Cruiser says, I never watched it when it was on, but maybe you'll convert me. That is my goal because look, I didn't think this show was worth my time. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I was wrong about the Nanny. I was wrong about Steve Urkel. We'll get to him in a second. When the Nanny was on, I was like, oh, this is just going to be like hacky jokes, easy comedy, nothing too, like I thought of myself as a Frasier gay. So, sophisticated. But no, I was wrong. The Nanny, not only is it just genuinely very funny, and Fran Drescher is a incredibly talented comedic actress, the show is super gay, and it has a lot of actually very nice heart. I like it a lot. Changa's here. Hello, Changa. Hello to Zenith Jones. Oh Wow says, women loving women here, loving the Nanny from a different point of view than men loving Mun, but I'm certain with roughly equal fervor. I think so. Yeah, so let me ask you that. Is Fran Drescher or Fine, the real life person or the character, a lesbian icon? Is she admired by our sisters in Sappho? Kuba says, good evening and greetings from Poland. Oh, it's evening in Poland. Well, good evening to you in Poland. I hope you're doing well. Shen watched regularly when I was a kid. It must have been on opposite something that I liked better. I wonder what the Nanny was on across from. It was on CBS. My condolences. I don't know. My sympathies go out to any show that had to be on CBS in the 90s, across from anything on NBC. It's really, the 90s was NBC's time. Anyway. Oh, it's pronounced Suava. Oh, Suava. I think it's Spanish. Something Suava Theater. Oh, Thomas is here. Hello, Thomas and GQ. James says, Matt was a bunny in a past life. He knows the sensation of pattering for fresh vegetables. I do. And wearing like a cute little Beatrix Potter jacket and nothing else. Hello to That So Derek, and hello to Mr. T-Bone. I've only ever seen a few episodes of The Nanny, but a huge Fran Drescher fan. I loved her. This is Spinal Tap. Oh, of course, she was in. Okay, so this is what's wild. Is Fran Drescher before The Nanny? This is Spinal Tap, and also Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. We'll take a look at that a little bit later, because it's so weird. Like, you think you know Saturday Night Live. Nope. You think you know Saturday Night Fever, the disco movie from the 70s. You think you know John Travolta. You think you know Fran Drescher, but no. They all came together at one point, and everybody forgets it. Who else have we got? Kate says, I'm probably on the younger side of today's audience, so I only caught The Nanny super late at night as a kid. I'm 18. Oh, you are. You're just a baby, just starting out. When I was a young person, when I was 20, I was probably 22, living in San Francisco, I went to the Stud, RIP, south of Market, for New Year's with some friends, and the person checking ID at the window looked at my ID, saw that I was 22, and said, oh, you're just a baby. You're just starting out. You got everything ahead of you. And they were so emotional about it, and I was a little drunk, so I was like, oh, thank you. I didn't know what to do. I think about that person all the time. You're just a baby. Nicodemus says, remember the Polish version of The Nanny? There's an episode with the Pride Parade in Warsaw? What? Oh my lord, I need to find out more about that. Hold on, I'm making a note to myself because that sounds incredible. Polish version of The Nanny Pride Parade in Warsaw? Really? Oh boy, let me know if the music's too loud. Warsaw Pride. Was there a Warsaw Pride in the 90s? Gosh, because I know Poland is still struggling with being a welcoming place for queer people. Jonathan, Gay Elephants called Jonathan, says, thank you for being representation for the technically not a furry community. yeah, sure. It's quite a technicality, but sure, let's go with that. Bogoljub? Tell me if I'm saying that right. Appreciate you for the videos. I've been hyped for the Nanny episode from the moment you announced it. Good. I'm glad. And let me know if there are other shows that you want to see me cover. I've got my list. But if you've got suggestions, please let me know. I rely on you all to let me know what shows are popular and to give me incredible trivia like there was a Polish version of The Nanny with the Warsaw Pride Parade. Oh, wow. Shen says, my middle school drama class teacher broke down an episode to show us how comedy is structured. Wow. It is a, very classically structured show. I will say that. Joey got to meet her at New Hope. Whoa, that's so cool. Resmond says, what's your persona name? Do you have an FA? So that continues to be a question, not the FA question, but the name, somewhere, I don't know where I put it. We had some suggestions for names for the rabbit, and I can't remember where did I put those suggested names? Is this it? No. Anyway, somewhere I've got a list of names I'm considering for the rabbit. Fenric was the first name that we were thinking about. Hold on. Oh, she was in UHF with Weird Al. Of course she was. And you were 9. Magic Mike says, my cousin showed me reruns of The Nanny. See, it's just a part of everyone's life. Samantha used to watch on Nickelodeon at 6 a.m. getting ready for primary school. I was so young, I can't remember it much. It ran from 2005 to 2010 in Poland. Wow. And it had Pride Parade since at least 2003. Jenga says, the American pilot for Are You Being Served, they changed Mrs. Slocum Pussy jokes by calling her cat Fanny. So it was my Fanny jokes. I can see, it would have been like, was that the early 90s when they did Are You Being Served in the U.S.? And I can see that being a little too much for American audiences. Nevermore is here. Hello, Nevermore. Silly Slicker says, someone said you're just a baby to 31-year-old me a few weeks ago. That's a bit old for that. Honestly, to me, you are a baby. I discovered your channel a few weeks ago. Says, Jew, boy, your content is very interesting. Thanks for the icon. Oh, well, shucks. That's what I say to that. Shucks. Ooh, can you do the clown episode? Jenny, that's a great idea. Clown episode of Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, and your console cowboy on Twitch. Hello. So many friends hopping in from Twitch. Lovely to see you all. In case you weren't aware, I also stream over on Twitch 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do I have the little, where's the Twitch info bug? Oh, it's somehow slid off the screen. Hold on. So I'm, oh boy. I've broken everything. Well, anyway, there's the URL for that, but I don't want that up there. Anyway, let's get, oh boy. Now I've broken it all. Uh-oh. Just camera. Camera. Where's the camera? I lost my camera. Hold on. There we go. Bring that back. Okay. Anyway, you can find me on twitch.tv/MattBow, my stream over there. And so here's the plan for today. We're going to be streaming here on YouTube for a little bit. Then we're going to watch the premiere of my new Nanny video. And then after the Nanny video, I'm going to head over to Twitch and do some gaming over there. So you can follow me on bouncing from place to place to place like a gummy bear. What else do we have? Phil Doctor says, if the Nanny video goes well, you should do a follow-up about Happily Divorced. I do mention Happily Divorced in the video that you're going to see. So there will be a mention of that. Don't you worry. Sarah says, I love the show growing up. It was the only time I saw Jewish women who looked like me and came from similar family dynamics that I did. I will say this. So I was raised, so my dad's side of the family is Jewish and was not raised with a lot of religion one way or the other. But there's a lot about the Nanny that was very familiar to me because they all lived in Queens. So we would go, I grew up in Connecticut, and we would go to Queens a couple times a year to visit that side of the family and spend time with a lot of Jewish family members in Queens, and I would hear a lot of Yiddish, and we would eat a lot of similar foods, and just culturally, the Nanny rang a lot of bells for me. We would also go get Chinese food. Sarah says she wasn't a nag, contrary to how she sounds. She wasn't a prude. She wasn't extremely religious. She just happened to be Jewish. Yeah, and there's like little Hebrew reference, like, she says something. There's an episode I was watching where she says if something bad should happen to Mr. Sheffield, Mr. Sheffield should die, and then she pretends to spit, and that's like, it's just one of those small things that, like, it's a Jewish custom, not like it's not a big one, but it's just one of those things. I was like, oh yeah, my family did that. Sarah says I was like turning off the TV to see my family and all their all their Michigas. I even said in the video that you're gonna watch in about an hour, about 45 minutes. I used the word schmaltzy in that video and didn't even realize until afterwards that I was like, oh yeah, that's also that's a little bit of Yiddish there. Are you going to consider Niles as a gay character or maybe just British? Oh, and Dollop Trollop is now following. Thank you for the follow, Dollop Trollop. I appreciate that over on Twitch. It's difficult to say because Niles is fairly sexless, fairly asexual for the run of the show. So it's a little much. Oh, and Winona Monsoon cheered. Oh, my stars. Thank you for the cheer. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Yeah, so those folks are all over on Twitch right now cheering and subscribing. So head on over to twitch.tv/MattBow. I'm going to be doing this live stream. We're going to watch the premiere, and then I'm going to head over to Twitch to do some gaming. Might be Monster Hunter. Oh, my gosh. Oh, there. Yes. Okay. The Winona thing just popped up on my other screen. Thank you again for that. So I'm still deciding what game I'm going to do. Might do some Monster Hunter. Might do some Stardew. Depends on whether we want something intense or something laid back. Phil says, how do you feel about Third Rock from the Sun? So funny you should ask. I've just been looking at some Third Rock from the Sun. There's an episode where Sally is mistaken for a drag queen. And then there's another episode where it's called Frankie Goes to Haverford, I think. Is Haverford, Ohio, I believe is the name of the town. Haverford? Whatever. They go to a gay bar. On this episode of Third Rock. There's not a lot of meat there. Like, the episode doesn't talk about gay very much, but I might do Third Rock, because I do like that show a lot. And Third Rock, a lot of episodes, Third Rock from the Sun, a lot of those episodes directed by Terry Hughes, who did a ton, like every episode of The Golden Girls. Jonathan says, also shout out to the Nanny for being a standout theme song made specifically for a show in a sea of generic theme songs. Yeah, it's a great theme song, too. Made by a friend of Fran Drescher's, whose name I can't remember. But, so this woman had worked with Fran on a number of other projects that didn't wind up going anywhere. And so Fran was like, hey, do you think you could do a theme song for this new show that I'm working on? And she was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And thank goodness for her that she spent some time, like, really dug into what the show was about and who was on it, what the characters' names were. And it was actually Fran Drescher when she was like, so who is this Nanny character? Fran Drescher, like, the way she described the character was she said, she's the lady in red when everyone else is in tan. And the woman who wrote the theme song was like, oh, that's pretty good. I'll put that in the theme song. And that was that. That's what Derek loves. Are You Being Served? Maybe I should do Are You Being Served? Charles says, bunny name suggestion, Alistair McCombs. That's cute. I like that. Oh, it was late 70s, said Changa, for the Are You Being Served? Really? I thought it would have been much later. Ellie wants to do Closet Clown from Rocko's Modern Life as well. I'm making notes so I don't forget. Closet Clown from Rocko's Modern Life. I know a lot of affection for that show, and also very 90s. Oh, it's LT Smartass, Timothy. Hello, good to see you. Another Twitch friend. Sutari-kun says, a contractor I talked with today thought I was a teenager. I'm 35 and a quarter years old. 35 and a quarter. Treehouse says, I met Anne Hampton Calloway, who's saying, oh, Anne Hampton Calloway, that's her name. Yes, that's her name. Mr. T says, talk about Closet Clan and also Static Cling. I don't know that one. Static Cling from Rocko's Modern Life? That one I don't know as well. Phil says, a name for the rabbit, the Brown Baum. Oh, it sounds like the Brown Sound. Rasmus never watched Nanny, loved Happily Divorced. Well, you're going to like this. Anthony says, oh, a video about Vito from The Sopranos. Yeah, Sopranos is a little more recent than the videos I normally do, in that it's like younger than 20 years old. But yeah, that's an idea. But that's what Eric says. She was Jewish. I thought she was just Italian. Well, interestingly, there was pressure for Fran Drescher to make the character Italian instead of Jewish. The belief that she was told was that viewers would not be interested in a Jewish main character, and she held firm on that. She stuck with it. I'm not 100% sure about this. I think something similar happened on Golden Girls, and that's why Dorothy and Sophia are very Italians, because originally those characters were supposed to be Jewish as well. I mean, they seem, the characters they have a lot in common with Jewish culture, and yet they're Italian on the show. Vinny says, I love the last live stream. Look forward to Nanny. I'm going to rewind a bit. Minxie says, I was a gay baby that watched Frasier, then switched channels to reach the Nanny as soon as Frasier was over. That's what I should have done. Yeah, GQ, the grandmother, Grandma Yetta, right? On The Nanny, was the same actress who played Millie on the Dick Van Dyke Show. Amazing. Like, I didn't even realize that until I was looking her up, and I was like, oh, it's Millie. It's good old Millie. Good old Millie. Anyway, Millie. Paula Suncheese is finally on time for once. I'm so happy. Hello. Courtney says, Getta's actually pretty cool. She gave me $100 for my bar mitzvah. She also thinks my name is Shmooey. Oh my goodness, it's scrolling so fast. The pilot was Beans of Boston from 79. Charlotte Ray is Mrs. Slocum. Alan Suze is Mr. Humphreys. I don't know who Alan Suze is, though. Oh, Static Cling is the Netflix Rocko's movie from 2018. Okay, about trans acceptance. Okay, yes, well, absolutely should talk about that. Timothy remembers Rocko's Modern Life saying, scrolled. Humina, and saying it meant my scrotum is multicolored. What? That's a little too much for Nickelodeon. That can't be right. Wow, H. Simpson says, are you being served? 1972. Was it, it wasn't American first and then British, right? It was British first, right? Right? James has a bisexual costume designer friend. My pandemic lifeline is 22 and acts 40, little scamp. Wait, is he bisexual and he makes costumes, or does he make costumes for bisexuals? OL says, have you listened to The Adventure Zone? Oh my, have I ever? The next volume of the graphic novel's out, and spoiler, 2 MLM characters have a meet not so cute. Oh, is that? Okay, no spoilers. I'm aware of the relationships. Courtney says Val was Italian. Okay, so Val on The Nanny was Italian. That makes sense. That's what Derek says. If you talk about kids shows that made us gay, mention Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was weird, but I don't remember anything specifically gay, other than like Ren and Stimpy have kind of they're 2 male characters living together, so I guess they're kind of a couple, kind of. Kate says, would you consider doing more modern shows? I'd love to see your take on the recent trend in animation towards queerness. I'd love your take on She-Ra. That is certainly something I'm considering. I'm working on a separate project, separate from YouTube, that's going to involve animation, voiceovers, video games. So I'm definitely looking at that kind of stuff. There's Morty and Daryl on the Barney Miller Show. Once a season, from season 2 to season 8, the last season. Ooh, Barney Miller, huh? That's one of the more obscure ones. It's not like a huge, pardon me, here's these. It's not a huge hit, like, I don't know, like Mary Tyler Moore, for example. But yeah, some gay characters on there. Very infrequent, as I recall. Even when they do appear, I think they're only on very briefly. Oh, Alan Suze was from Laugh-In. Okay. Oh, Phil says you responded. You were watching another stream that only responded to people who donated. Well, that's not what these streams are for. James says he's bisexual and will make costumes for anyone willing to pay. Oh, high 3 figures or more. Those must be some costumes. Ooh, there's a Grace Under Fire gay episode, huh? Okay. Grace Under Fire, Emmett's Secret. I'm gonna write that down. Check that out. Grace Under Fire, Emmett's Secret. Oh my! I can hear the music coming through the headphones. Let me know if it's too loud. Let me know if I need to turn it down. Courtney says, definitely British first. Are you being served? Thank you, early 90s PBS Britcom block. Yeah. Monty Python, Faulty Towers, Keeping Up Appearances, One Foot in the Grave. Thank you for the bless yous. Stewie says, I spent a lot of time in college with my grandmother watching a lot of older shows like Hogan's Heroes, Happy Days, Carol Burnett. Well, there's going to be a Laverne and Shirley connection to the Nanny that I certainly did not see coming. So, spoiler alert on that. But there's unexpectedly a Laverne and Shirley connection. Lonely recommends Kath and Kim. Oh, more recent, but a very queer fan base. Yeah, and Garrick from DS9. Yes. Again, so subtle, so coded. There's not enough really to say about it because there's nothing on the show itself that's and now here's the gay episode with Garrick. Star Trek, very timid about queer content, surprisingly, for a show that's supposed to boldly go. Very slow to pick up on the gay stuff. Rezel is here, popped in before my mythic raid with a guild in World of Warcraft. Hello, Rezel. I hope you're doing great. Ren Stimpy Adult Party on FX where they really hone the homosexuality to an uncomfortably homophobic degree. Uh-oh. Panzer, hello. Laughing and Smothers Brothers were quite fun. Oh, yeah. Those were... I don't know if there's anything gay on those. Although there is a Joanne... Okay, there's always a connection. Joanne Worley, who is on Laugh-In, she's got a connection to the Nanny as well. Oh, Chang is excited for Laverne and Shirley, so is Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Ryan Rickburn was to blame for that. Yep. Oh, Niles is specifically not gay, but I think Daniel Davis is, the actor. Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, so the actor who played Niles. So I guess, we should talk a little more about the Nanny before we get going here, because, like I said, the plan, we're going to chat over here for a little while. Then we're going to watch the premiere, and I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do the YouTube thing. We're going to see how this works. Hopefully it works. It mostly worked last time. It's this new feature on YouTube where I end a live stream, and it should automatically send you all over to the premiere of my new video. You don't have to do anything. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hopefully it'll work. It worked for most people last time. A few people who are on, more unusual devices, if somebody was on a Roku or something like that, it didn't quite work. But... it mostly should work. So this stream should end and automatically send you to the premiere. And then, once the premiere happens of my new Nanny video, then we're going to hop on over to Twitch, twitch.tv/MattBound. Let me try one more time to get that up on screen, because that would be super cool if I could actually make that work. Nope. I broke it again. How do I keep doing that? Let's see. We're going to put the Twitch bug over there. There it goes. Okay. There it is. Anyway, so twitch.tv/MattBound. That's where I'm going to be after this, after the premiere. And I don't know what I'm going to be playing, but we'll figure it out then. Anyway, so The Nanny. As you're going to see in my video, surprisingly queer show. I was not expecting this, but a lot of just jokes and references scattered throughout the series. Just, here and there, in every episode. Not every episode. In a lot of episodes. A show really comfortable talking about gay, and not in the way that a lot of shows of the 90s would have been ooh, it's something gay, oh, controversial, or there's a gay character, it's a problem, what do we do? Oh no, somebody's been mistaken for gay, it's a crisis. The Nanny was just oh yeah, gay people exist, and that was it. That's the end of it. So I find that really impressive. So you're going to see some examples of that, and of course Fran Drescher, coming from New York, Not a difficult leap to think that she had, showbiz in New York, had a lot of queer friends. And of course, the show has a connection to Broadway. One of the characters, the person that she lives with on The Nanny, Mr. Sheffield, is a Broadway producer. So lots of opportunity for musical theater and show tune talk and guest stars, some very queer icon guest stars on the show. We watched an episode that was all about Cher that does not actually have Cher on it, but there are a lot of Cher references. Oh, and of course her love of Barbra Streisand. You know, another queer icon there. Anyway, oh my stars. Okay, so let me jump back over to the chat because I've been neglecting the chat. Oh yeah, Rebecca, there's a episode of WKRP where there's a rumor about Lonnie Anderson's character that she is trans, although does not use very good language. Oh boy, it doesn't. I do reference that episode, actually. It's amazing how many connections there are. I do reference that episode in the video that you're about to watch. There's going to be briefly, but I use it as a comparison for how much TV had changed from the 70s to the 90s. That episode of WKRP. Less on the Ledge is the title of the episode. Not a great one. A character, there's a rumor that a character is gay, and he threatens to jump off a building because of it. Not great. CPT Doom, or Captain Doom, says producers addressed the Bert and Ernie controversy during the recent 50th anniversary special and said they wish they hadn't issued a denial. Ooh, I didn't know about that. That's awesome. Oh, and Carmen suggests fried green tomatoes. That's a good idea. Clearly a story about a lesbian couple, but they never explicitly said so. Yeah, you know, so that is one of the challenges, because there's a lot of, like, it's clearly gay, but they never say anything shows or movies. And I would love to talk about those, but it's tough because it's hard to separate what is actually there from what you are reading, you know, not you personally, but from what a viewer reads into it and what a viewer brings to it as their own, not their own baggage exactly, but their own experience. Anyway. Sparkle Monster says, "You are the best. I love your content. Thank you for making this drag queen know so much about queer culture. I am happy to educate. Happy to do so. Happy to have you here, Sparkle Monster Show. Welcome. Welcome on in." Carmen, in the book Fried Green Tomatoes, they were definitely lesbians, says Norman. No question about it. James says, DS9's major showrunner acknowledged that timidity to portray queer identities in documentary. The big lesbian kiss episode has issues, TM, for that reason. Although pretty good. I do have an episode, a video about the lesbian episode of the lesbian. It's like kind of lesbian episode of DS9. Directed by Avery Brooks. Jeff says, "Are you going to talk about the weird backdoor pilot in season 2? Yes, I am. I love that you all know more Nanny trivia than I do. Like, after having researched it for the last, like, weeks, I've been researching it for weeks, and, like, you all know so much about the Nanny. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, so the Nanny was going to do they tried to do a backdoor pilot, so basically an episode of the Nanny that would have served as the pilot for another series. It's not good, is the problem. So it's set in a hair salon called the Chatterbox. The main character is this kind of, like, it seems like they tried to make him Sam Malone-esque, like he's a sex icon, like he's this real cool, suave, masculine character, but he's just kind of unpleasant. There's a cute kid, because of course there's a cute kid. There's a gay hairdresser played by the same actor who played Gil Chesterton on Frasier, Edward Hibbert. And there's a character who is, it's pretty racist. It's a pretty racist character. But the actress is great. She went on to play Amy on Futurama, among many other roles. But the depiction on the Chatterbox pilot is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Norman suggests gays and game shows. Paul Lynde and Charles Nelson Riley. Yeah, I actually have a whole file on that stuff. Yes. Soap had progressive attitude too. Hilarious. Yes. Oh yeah, I think I do mention Soap in, I think it's my How Sitcoms Handled Homos in the 70s video. I have some stuff about Soap in there. Fran was a part of the Who's the Boss backdoor spinoff that never went. Really? Did Who's the Boss ever do a gay episode? I'm not sure. Let me check on that one. Who's the Boss gay episode? Who's the Boss gay? Question mark? Oh, Sherry says, "I love your stuff. Great way to look at media in context. Former broadcaster. Never thought in these ways." Oh, well, welcome. Glad to have you here. And congratulations to you on your history of broadcasting. James Gent is here, or Gent? James Gent or Gent? Hello from Wales. Hello to Wales. Video Gamer says, "What's the topic? What did I miss?" We are just chatting a little bit about the Nanny, and then we're going to watch my brand new episode about the Nanny. And then we're going to do some streaming over on twitch.tv/MattBaum. Hellbound Heart remembers a gay story in Cagney and Lacey. I think it was kind of homophobic. Whoops. That wouldn't surprise me, though. Cagney Lacey, part of that, James and I were talking, James, my partner, and I were talking about cozy mysteries the other day, and what makes a show a cozy mystery versus like an other kind of mystery, I guess. Because we were looking at Columbo, and we were like, is Columbo a cozy mystery in the same way that, Murder, She Wrote, or Father Dowling, or Cadfile are cozy mysteries, or Rosemary and Thyme? And I think so. I think yes. I think part of the cozy is the routine and the repetition of phrases. For example, one more thing, like that feels cozy, and also that the mystery solver is underestimated by other characters. That Jessica Fletcher or Columbo seems like a bumbler. Jane Marple, of course, seems like a harmless little old lady. I think part of the coziness is that the clever detective character is not a Sherlock Holmes, is not a show-off. They're just very unassuming and might be underestimated. Anyway, one of the other reasons I'm talking about this is because I'm thinking about this is a backdoor pilot of its own. I've been looking at doing an episode, a video about Murder, She Wrote, has a episode where they go to a gay bar. Kind of. It's a drag bar in San Francisco in the 80s, and it's kind of gay, but not really. Anyway, and it's just fascinating how weird and bonkers and ungayed they made it. And it's it's a drag bar full of heterosexuals. Satari-kun would love to hear your thoughts on Strip Mall, the Julie Brown show. I don't know that at all. Deliciously Conflicted would love to see a video of Jeffrey. Oh, yeah, Jeffrey featuring, I can't remember the actors' names, but the actor from Wings and the actor from Nowhere Man? Was that the name of the show? It was a show about a guy who couldn't remember where he was. Or couldn't remember who he was. Plays Jeffrey. Anyway, Jeffrey, very good movie. The child that's not Alyssa Milano is gay, says Magic Mike. I learned that before I started watching Who's the Boss. It's a bit confusing. Joey, I think, is the actor's name. Kate says, this channel is literally go-to place for queer history. You've taught me more than any other source. I even used your episodes on the Queen of Paris' birthday in my dance course in college. Wow, that's awesome, Kate. How did you use it? That is fantastic. I'm so happy about that. Paul Law says, the Nanny has a very special place in my heart. I used to watch reruns with my mom. We didn't know English at the time. We'd watch in Spanish. I didn't know what being Jewish was. I thought and it got cut off. She was just a fun lady from New York. I mean, why not both? Ellie recommends Mighty Mouse New Adventures, produced by Ralph Bakshi. Really? Not so flattering queer characters in 70s adult animated films. Yeah, not great. Not great, the Ralph Bakshi adult animated films for queer representation. Carmen wants a Pushing Up Roses Matt Baum collab. That would be a blast. Pushing Up Roses seems like a very nice person. Magic Mike says, I say child because he played one of the played one of the children until the end. He was a teenager by the end when he talks about dating. Yeah. Joey, I think his name is Joey. He's got out of acting. I want to say he is... I could be making this up. Runs a restaurant owns a restaurant in Las Vegas now. I could be wrong about that. T-Bone says Columbo's cozy because he's always so nice to the killer. Oh, that's a good point. Cozy mysteries, they're usually very nice to the killers. Episode of Columbo with Ruth Gordon playing Jessica Fletcher. Turns out the mystery writer is the murderer. Oh, really? I love that. I love that it's Ruth Gordon. Of course, Ruth Gordon from Harold and Maude. She's Maude in that. And, of course, she's the nosy neighbor in Rosemary's Baby, among many other roles. Jaden says, I'd say Ms. Marple is cozy because of the armside manner of it. Yeah, they're all very mannered, right? They're all very polite. Yeah, a gay-ish bar, says Jenga. Yeah, that's exactly it. Housetown Boots says, I remember the nanny's cousin or uncle, Cousin Ira, appearing as a drag queen Cher impersonator. Yes, Cousin Ira. We did watch that episode. That Cher, and I actually mentioned it in, did I mention it in this video? No, I mentioned it on Patreon, BT Dubs, if you're enjoying my video. If you like what I do over here, you should check me out on Patreon because I post even more stuff over there. Clips that didn't have a chance to get into the videos that I put on YouTube. I post those on Patreon. You can see even more. You get sneak peeks at what I'm working on. You get more little stories. Like there's a whole story about how the nanny got made in the first place that I posted on Patreon. So if you go, let's see if I can put the Patreon bug up instead of the Twitch one. Let's see here. Oh, did it work? It worked. There we go. So if you go to patreon.com/mattbaum, you get even more of this stuff. So, of course, a huge thanks to everyone who supports what I do on Patreon because that's what makes it possible for me to do more of these things. And also everyone who watches and everyone who shares and everyone who's like and subscribe. Do hit that subscribe bell so you know when I got more of these. So thank you for everyone who makes these videos possible. Stewie just got back into watching Seinfeld. There's so many gay episodes. Of note, when a reporter thought Jerry and George were partners, can you believe I referenced that episode in the Nanny video that you're about to see as well? Y'all are calling out so many little moments of TV history that are very important. So I'm glad you're also well educated because they're going to appear in the video that you're about to see. And I'm so happy that you're familiar with them. Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that episode, says Panzer. It's a good one. It's really good. It's a very good episode. Video Gamer once heard a rumor that the actor who played Angela's son on Who's the Boss had a relationship with the actor who played the youngest son on Home Improvement. Huh. Don't know if that's true. I mean, weirder things have happened. Oh, The Pretender. Yes, Charles, that was the name of the show. Patrick Stewart. The other Patrick Stewart. Danny, that's his name, not Joey. Danny Pintaro, the gay actor from Who's the Boss, forced out. Tabloid tried to out him because of his HIV status. Same thing's happened to a lot of actors. The guy who played Darren, Dick Sargent, not Dick York, Dick Sargent, yes, was almost outed by a tabloid. And he came out first. So he knew that the tabloid was going to out him. And he was like, all right, I'm just going to do it first. And he just went public. At the LA Gay Center, the LGBT Center, there was an event, like a fundraiser, I think. And he gets up and he does a little speech. He comes out as gay and he's like, all right, there you go. Tabloid, you can't out me now. Kate says, we're discussing ballroom and family house structure around ballroom. I use your videos to talk about how they formed and the benefits they present at the time. I even led the discussion. Oh, Kate, that's so great. I'm so happy that I could be helpful there. And there's lots, oh my goodness, there's lots of great, if you like my video about that, definitely, of course, watch Paris is Burning, watch the documentary Kiki, watch The Queen. My video is a overview of all that stuff, but there's lots more to see. And of course, watch Pose is a really good portrait of that time. And what was the show? The reality show on HBO, the elimination show. Now I can't remember the name of it. Oh no, I forgot the name of it. What's it? Legendary. Thank you, James. Courtney says, my cousin Ira was multifarious, but when you sang Over the Rainbow, you'd swear Judy was in the room. It's very good. It's a very good episode. There's 2 Cher impersonators in that Nanny episode. One of them I found on Facebook. She's still doing it. She's still impersonating Cher. If you got a skill, if you got it, flaunt it. Jeremy was just watching the Nanny clips this month. There's been a little Nanny boom, I think, because in March, I believe it was in March, it became available for the first time on HBO Max. And so a lot of people are rewatching it on HBO. And so that is not why I decided to do the video now. It just happened to work out that way. Vinny says, I don't know if you mentioned it yet, but the Facts of Life, first episode, roughhousing. Oh, yes. Problematic about Cindy being a tomboy and possibly a lesbian. They never use the word. It is a weird episode. First of all, it's weird that the first episode of Facts of Life has a lesbian-ish storyline. The Facts of Life, if you're not familiar, was a show in the 80s, starred, what was Mrs. Garrett? Who was that actress? Charlotte Rae, who was on the American version of Are You Being Served? But anyway, so it was a show about some young women, teenagers, living together in basically a boarding house kind of dorm situation, and learning the facts of life, learning about being a grown-up and going through the difficult transition of the teenage years. And the very first episode has one who's kind of a tomboy. She likes sports. She doesn't like frilly dresses. And one of the more feminine presenting characters is like, oh, you're so weird. There's something weird about you. And she has a real attitude about it. And the way that she's comforted by Mrs. Garrett, who's sort of the house mother, Mrs. Garrett is like, oh, lots of people are weird, but they get over it. And she's basically the message is, you might think you're a lesbian, but you're not. And so it's not great. It's not a great message, but at least they talk about it. And then it gets even stranger, that episode, because then Mrs. Garrett goes to the shamer, the very femme character, and she's like, oh, you sure do wear a lot of revealing outfits. Well, if you're advertising, you must be selling. And it's like a real weird slut-shaming moment. So the whole thing all around is just very bizarre. Anyway, that's the facts of life. Oh, Timothy says, a friend of mine went to Stanford with Danny Pintaro. Oh, Neat. Is he good? Is he good in real life? Is he a nice person? Jacob says, what do you think of Pose? I mean, I have mixed feelings because on one hand, I think it's great that these stories are getting told. And I've loved that a lot of queer and trans people of color are involved in the making of it. I just, the Ryan Murphy of it all is hard for me to get through. And it's not because of the content. It's just any of his projects are, I find, very slow. So that's all. Isabel's is a little French Canadian. It's great to learn about LGBTQ history elsewhere. Yay. Well, I don't know that much about French Canadian queer history. Lynn says, I remember an episode where the male nanny is presumed by everyone to be gay, displays all the stereotypes. In the end, he turned out straight, and they are all shocked. I love that. Oh, are you in luck, Lynn? Are we ever going to be talking about that episode in in about 20 minutes? It's going to be all that all the time. No, I talk about other stuff, but that is a centerpiece of what I'm going to be talking about in the upcoming video. Changa says the first episode past the pilot of Alice had a gay episode. Also a bold choice for a start. Oh, I didn't realize that was that's the one where Alice goes on a date with, I think, a football player who comes out to her, if I'm remembering correctly. Kate wants me to talk about the facts of life. I watch reruns with my mom who grew up with it. I loved it. Cindy was so hot. Unsmart Nerd says, hello, wondering what rent was like in the Castro when you lived there. I had some experience with being super low income living in that area. How did it work for you? I actually didn't live in the Castro. I lived in Lone Mountain, which is not a neighborhood that anybody really acknowledges. I live near the end of the Panhandle, so where the Panhandle hits Golden Gate Park. And I happened to move there right between the bubbles, so my rent was quite low. So it worked out great for me. And, rent control in San Francisco made it very comfortable. So anyway, that was my experience. Not really representative. Vinny loves The Facts of Life, my favorite classic sitcom. Glad you remember it. Captain Doom says, Facts of Life started with a different cast. Oh, yeah. Including young Molly Ringwald, recast for season 2 and dumped half the girls. A lot of changes in the cast of Facts of Life. Also, Gary Coleman, I want to say, is on the pilot. Mel Jane says, I was thinking of doing a dissertation about Asian queer characters in American cinema and television next year, or I started researching. My favorite included Front Cover and Spa Night. Yeah, that's a challenge. There's not many. Not many Asian queer characters in American cinema and television. I want to say Sandra Oh played a queer character, but I might be misremembering that. I think I might be misremembering that. Because I can't remember what that character was or where. Hard to think of any. Yeah. Vinny says, the only time the word lesbian is used was Blair, again, attacks her stepbrother, played by Eve Plum, for becoming a nun, a two-part, and it was wild. Lidicate says, do you think you'll ever be discussing gay episodes in the 90s adult animation? That has been raised. We were talking about Rocko's Modern Life a little bit earlier, so that, I'm going to take a closer look at that, at the Closet Clown episode, because that has come up a number of times. Timothy says, Zero Patience and Lilies are the only French-Canadian queer films I feel. Of course, Zero Patience. I forgot about Zero Patience. Very unusual musical about the early days of the HIV epidemic. Video Gamer says, useless fact, I got into watching Facts of Life because I recognized Charlotte Rae from the Fairuza Balk version of The Worst Witch. Oh, wow. What a connection. I didn't know Fairuza Balk was in a version of The Worst Witch. Oh, Amanda says, who's that little fellow on the couch? You mean Cookie Puss, the celestial person? That is, some of you may know Cookie Puss if you're on the East Coast. The mascot of Carvel. You can get an ice cream cake shaped like this friendly fellow. And one year for James's birthday, I gave him a pillow. I made a pillow in the shape of Cookie Puss. So there he is. And I think we also got a Cookie Puss cake that year. Housedown says, revisiting the Nanny clips on YouTube made me remember how strong, quick-witted, and razor-sharp the dialogue and humor on it was. You know, what I like about the show is how kind Fran is. She's like, it would be very easy to do that character as self-centered, which I think a lot of easier sitcoms might have done, as like self-obsessed, and she doesn't listen to people, and she's mean, but she really is quite loving and kind and nice, especially to the kids. And even to Cece, who is rather mean to her. There's one episode, I think I'm going to get this quote probably half right, but she says something like, I'm smart enough to know when I've been insulted and sexy enough not to care. And I think that sums up the character very well, that she is smart, she is thoughtful, she's a listener, she knows what people are saying. but she is also confident enough to not need to engage and to not need to prove herself. So she's a really great character. Hank Morgan recommends Lloyd in Space. I have never heard of that. Lloyd in Space. Vinny says, not only was The Facts of Life a spinoff, it attempted at least 5 spinoffs and not a single one went anywhere. So weird that one was a hit and all the attempted spinoffs failed. Mel says, my list of mainstream queer Asian Hollywood films that was entirely Alice Wu. The half of it in Saving Face, side characters in Deadpool 2, Blockers, and Hangover films, which was bad. Yeah, I think you're going to find a lot of bad before you find a lot of good, unfortunately. One of the jokes I did not like in The Nanny says, Lynn, Fran and Max are in a bar, a man played by a real-life husband hits on her. She blows him off, by pretending to be trans. Not great. Not great. 90s, not a great sensitivity towards gender non-conforming anything, really. I would have hoped for better. But I understand that TV just did not handle that well back then. Oh, Mr. T-Bone, I'm familiar with Anything Can Happen on Halloween. Is that the one that has Fairuza Balk, though? Because that one's super British, right? No? The Tim Curry one is not super British? I thought it was. Oh. Well, never mind. Courtney says, you're a lovely person, but if you hurt one of my kids again, they'll be cleaning your blue blood off the walls. That's sweet. Sweet and violent. Lloyd in Space is a Disney cartoon. All right. Not familiar. Oh, and Panzer recommends Parting Glances. That's also very good. Parting Glances, is that the one with Steve Buscemi? I think that's the one with Steve Buscemi. Oh, yeah, Eric. Amazing that Happy Days is a spinoff of Love American Style, then went on to have at least 3 spinoffs of its own, including Mork and Mindy. Isn't it bizarre that Mork and Mindy comes out of Happy Days? Speaking of Happy Days, spinning off to Laverne and Shirley, we're going to talk about Laverne and Shirley in just a few minutes in this Nanny video, because no spoilers, but there is a connection to Laverne and Shirley that is going to blow your socks off. Is that a saying? Knock your socks off? Roll your socks up? I don't know. Anyway, something's going to happen to your socks, and I can't be held responsible. Lynn says, I can't even remember how many times I saw The Nanny. I loved it. Isn't it weird? Isn't it like, it's just so strange that it just missed me when it was on. It was one of those shows I was just like, nah, I thought it was all going to be like hacky jokes. I thought it was like going to be a lot of like cheap sex comedy kind of jokes. Yeah, just I think it was kind of a snob about it. I was like, oh, it's not smart enough. It's not a smart show like Frasier. Oh, Jake wants me to talk about the movie Dressed to Kill. That might be. Now wait, are we talking about the movie Dressed to Kill, or are we talking about the Eddie Izzard special? Changa says NBC was a mess leading to the creation of Facts of Life. Given their one-hit different strokes, they tried spinning off off making the Facts of Life. That's right. NBC had a real bad 80s and a real strong 90s. Yeah, Jeremy, they had the Cher episode. They mentioned a male cousin who does drag in a neutral to positive way. It is a mixed bag. I'll say that about that one. Jarvis used to watch The Nanny with your mom. Yeah, a lot of people. It was like a big part of their life, whether they watch it with family or they watch it before school, because it sounds like it was on very early for a lot of folks. Oh no, Carmen, Worst Witch isn't streaming, and Amazon won $75 the DVD. Oh boy. Mel recommends the young adult book Felix Ever After about a black queer demi-boy who's an art student in New York. That sounds great. Actually, right now I'm reading this book called Ash by Melinda Lowe, who I love. She's this great fantasy writer, queer fantasy writer. Melinda Lowe has a book called Ash. It's a young adult novel that's kind of a retelling of the Cinderella story that I really recommend. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. I just finished reading the Courtney Crumrin books, which are fantastic. Not particularly queer, but great series of comic books by Ted Nafa, San Francisco, I think, artist. Anyway, getting real distracted here, but I recommend the Courtney Crumrin comic books for creepy monsters in the woods and a little girl who knows how to deal with them. And I recommend Ash by Melinda Lowe as a queer Cinderella retelling. Dynamanti recommends... Oh, someone mentioned adult animation. What about children's animation? Hard to cover because most of it's side winks and insinuation. Yeah, it is hard to cover because until Steven Universe, there's really really not much that goes like explicitly gay. And even Steven Universe, I mean, they don't use the word lesbian on the show. It's just they have a lesbian wedding, but they never say lesbian. I like some De Palma movies, but Dressed to Kill offends me deeply as a trans person, says unclear. Oh, so I don't know this movie very well. Benjamin says, I watched Nanny so many times, it's insanely popular in Australia. I wonder if I'm going to have a big Australian viewership for this video. That would be amazing. NBC had a bad 80s. Cosby and Golden Girls turned around mid-80s onward. That's true. They had, I mean, there's a, it wasn't all bad, obviously, but the network was a bit tattered that decade. There's a Saturday Night Live sketch from the 80s that's like, it's a fake ad for NBC where like the sets are falling apart and the dancers are crashing into each other, basically making fun of how NBC is just like falling apart at the seams. Oh, Brianna had the privilege of meeting Melinda Lowe back in 2019. Had dinner with her. She's very cool. Oh my goodness, I'm very jealous. That must have been great. She seems wonderful. I'm subscribed to her newsletter. She seems just absolutely fantastic. She has a short story that really that just hooked me on her. It's about it's another queer retelling of a, classic fantasy story about a, young woman trapped in a tower, and there's a prophecy that she's going to kill the king and all this stuff. Anyway, so wonderful, wonderful writer. Todd says, have you seen Requiem for Funny Box, Rockford Files, season 4, episode 6 from 77, A Gay Mobster? Ooh, I have not seen that. No. Oh yeah, yeah. All in the Family had the most spin-offs. Jeffersons, Good Times, Maude, Archie Bunker's Place, Gloria, 74 Hauser Street, Checking In, all part of the Norman Lear-verse. And we are coming up on premiere time for the new video. So in about 5 minutes, I'm going to end the stream, and we're all going to, hopefully, if it works, hop on over to my premiere. And I got to tell you, I know I say this every time. I'm always so nervous when these premieres happen that I'm going to realize I uploaded the wrong version, or I don't know, it's just not going to play, or the color's going to be wrong, or the captions are. I'm always worried that it's going to be wrong, but it's always fine. It's always fine. There was one disaster many years ago when I uploaded a video about the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and I can't remember what I did, but there was like no audio throughout the entire middle of it, and I can't remember how I did that. It went live. I instantly realized what happened and took it down, re-uploaded, and like nobody noticed. Well, a couple dozen people noticed. And then after that, I'm just so paranoid about the wrong video going up. Vin Cornelius. How many gay people could there be in New York, says the Broadway producer. Yes. Wait, even Buck Rogers had a Gary Coleman episode? I didn't know that. Oh, and Erica recommends Shizao. Yeah, I forgot about Shizao. That was, I can't remember if... James, do you remember what Ted's role in that was?
I don't. Who's involved?
Our friend Ted was involved somehow in bringing that to air. I don't know if he was a producer. He might have been a producer on that. Anyway. The Nanny has been remade in several countries, says Brian. Poland, Turkey, and Italy. How popular the show is. Yeah, so I'm going to look up the Polish version because apparently there's a Pride episode. 7 recommends, oh yeah, ABC's Tuesday night lineup. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, Taxi. That is solid. That's very solid. Motherload wants me to do a video game video. It's been a while since I did one of those. I used to do more. I've got one about Gone Home? Yeah, I did one about Gone Home. I did some about Robert Yang games. So you can find there. I do have video game videos on my channel. Motherload says, oh yeah, video game episodes. Flea Steel says, my stream failed again on Thursday. Oh no, more technical difficulties. Oh, Flea, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, but as I was just saying, I too have technical difficulties here and there. Like until I switched to Premiere, I had this ongoing problem with Final Cut where it would look fine in the timeline, and you can see this actually in one or two of my videos that are on my channel because I didn't catch it until it was too late. But the titles are just, it's just the first letter. So I want the title to say like The Golden Girls, and it'll just be a capital T and nothing else. So anyway, that's some weird bug with Final Cut that I eventually got tired of, and now I'm on Premiere, which has got its own issues for different reasons. Oh, Arya Man wants me to watch Scam. I know, is it Scam or Scum? I know the show is good. I know a lot of people have recommended that show to me. Oh, The Nanny was remade in Brazil called a Diarista. Huh. Diarista. Does that mean nanny or does that mean like, I don't know, a memoirist? There's an Argentinian version. Oh, and Brian Moore wants me to do a video about Final Fight. Oh, and Julie Newmar's on Buck Rogers too. Wow, boy, oh boy. Gang's all there. Maplewood says The Owl House is a kids animated show that involves one of the female side characters having a crush on a female main character. Okay, so there's, and I'm going to assume it's recent. Because it does seem like animation, just suddenly something happened. Animation was like, okay, now we've got gay characters. Like it's no big thing, no big deal. Javis recommends the Aladdin TV show, queer coded character, Mirage. Oh, yes. I know the character you're talking about. Yeah. Michael's popping in. Hello, Michael. You're here at the tail end of the live stream. But once the live stream ends, don't go anywhere because hopefully, we'll see if this works. Fingers crossed. This should send everybody over automatically to the premiere of my new video. So I'm going to end this in just a minute. If it doesn't work, there is in the description for this live stream, there is a link. So it says where to go in case it doesn't send you automatically. It should work, but in case it doesn't, the link is there in the chat. Oh, and everyone's recommending Black Sails. I don't know that at all. Okay, let me put that on the list too. Black Sails. Best shows ever. Great for LGBTQIA plus characters, says Lynn. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully I'll see you all in just like 3 minutes over on my Nanny video. And thank you all again to everybody who came in to join for this. And once that Nanny video is over, come join me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/MattBaum. I'm going to put that little bug up one more time. There it is, twitch.tv/MattBaum. We're going to be playing some video games over there for a little while. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be just absolutely the bee's knees. All right, everyone, I'm going to fire up the music. We're going to end the stream. And the music didn't work. And all right, hopefully the first and only issue to occur. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll see you all hopefully in just a minute over on my Nanny video. Let's see if it works.